There's a part deep within the feminine mind that most men never truly reach, not because it's completely hidden, but because even she hesitates to face what exists there. Carl Jung referred to this as the shadow, a psychological space where suppressed desires, raw emotions, and unspoken fantasies quietly live beneath a carefully crafted social mask. She won't post about this side of herself online. She won't openly discuss it in therapy. And even in her most vulnerable moments, she'll barely admit it to a close friend late at night. But it exists. And the man who understands this shadow doesn't chase women. He becomes unforgettable. Most men spend their lives responding to the version of a woman she presents to the world, the agreeable, polite, emotionally safe version, the one who says she wants kindness, communication, and emotional availability. Yet those same men often get ignored, friend-zoned, or quietly replaced, because what she says she wants, and what actually triggers something deeper inside her, are two completely different things. This isn't about manipulation. It's not about tricks or strategies. It's about understanding feminine desire on a level most men are too comfortable, too polite, or too afraid to explore. If that makes you slightly uncomfortable, good. That's usually the first sign you're getting close to something real. Jung didn't uncover the idea of the shadow to shame people. He revealed it to set them free. And what exists in a woman's shadow isn't darkness for the sake of it. It's depth. It's the part of her that was never given permission to fully express itself. From a young age, she was taught to be agreeable, kind, and easy to accept, to hide intensity, to suppress strong emotions, desire, anger, longing, anything that might feel too raw or too overwhelming. So she learned to contain it, to soften it, to present something more socially acceptable, even when something much stronger was underneath. Now here's where most men make a critical mistake. They meet a woman, see the version she presents, and respond only to that surface. They bring affection to the mask. They offer consistency to the facade. They try to logically earn her attraction through good behavior, and she appreciates them, the same way you'd appreciate something reliable, but uninspiring. What she cannot fake is a reaction to a man who sees beyond the surface without hesitation, a man who doesn't need her to be perfect, a man who isn't shaken by her contradictions, a man who isn't seeking her approval. That man doesn't feel like he's chasing her. He feels like a mirror, and a mirror that reflects something she's never been allowed to see is impossible to ignore. This is what's called frame, not arrogance, not coldness, but a quiet, grounded certainty in who you are, with or without validation. If you've ever made yourself smaller just to keep a woman comfortable, that's exactly why she slowly lost interest. Here's a truth most people won't tell you because it doesn't sound good. Women aren't primarily attracted to what you do for them. They're drawn to what you refuse to compromise because of them. Read that again. A man who constantly adjusts his life, his standards, and his self-respect to fit a woman's mood isn't being romantic. He's signaling insecurity, and that signal is picked up almost instantly, not by her logic, but by her nervous system. It registers as weakness, and weakness doesn't awaken the shadow. It puts it to sleep. What activates it is polarity, the experience of encountering something solid, something that doesn't bend under pressure. A man who can remain calm in her emotional storms without becoming reactive. A man who doesn't respond with defensiveness or apology, but with grounded stillness. That stillness isn't indifference, it's control. And control, true mastery, has always been deeply attractive. As a more experienced man, you carry something younger men can't imitate. You carry lived experience, decisions made, pain processed, lessons earned. And when carried properly, that weight doesn't feel heavy. It feels grounding. It creates a presence, a kind of gravity, the kind that makes a woman feel like she's finally next to someone who won't collapse under emotional pressure. A man who understands this doesn't compete with younger men. He operates in a completely different league. Your age isn't a weakness. It's leverage. Marcus Aurelius once wrote that a man's value is measured by the quality of his ambitions, not his words, not his kindness alone, and not the sacrifices he makes for approval, but the inner drive he refuses to abandon. This is where Stoicism and feminine psychology intersect. A Stoic man isn't emotionally distant, he's emotionally sovereign. There's a difference. An emotionally sovereign man has felt deeply, processed it, and no longer needs to display it for validation. And that quiet control is exactly what the feminine shadow responds to. Not a man who feels nothing, but a man who feels deeply and chooses how he responds. A man who loves with intention, not desperation. A man who isn't afraid of silence in a conversation, because he isn't controlled by the need to impress. Nice guys give women what they ask for. Men with depth give them what they actually need. The experience of someone who cannot be shaped by discomfort. You are not too late. You are not behind. In many ways, you're becoming exactly the kind of man that a woman's unspoken side has been waiting for. So, here's something to reflect on tonight. When was the last time you changed something about yourself? Your words, your plans, your standards, just to avoid a woman's disapproval? And what did that cost you? Not her. You. Be honest with yourself. Because the men who can face that truth without avoiding it are the ones who will never feel the need to shrink again.